Been here from EWPRO, getting straight into the weekly outlook, looking at the DXY on the daily time frame. Like, there's two scenarios here. I've got it as an a B, and a C, and this may be the end of it. And then we have this nice impulse up in here. And so overall I am very much bullish on this. But there is an alternative, which is this. Like, we got an A, B, C here, and then we get an A, B, C before we get that larger C down. Now, this top over here hasn't been broken over here, so that is still possible that we do go and break these lows. That's the alternative count. I am looking on the daily here as very much bullish, though, and we just get a correction in here. This may turn like motive and go and break the low as that second scenario. Or we just get an A, a B, and a C in here. I'm looking at this here as a B wave at this stage. So ideally, we just get an A, B, C in here, and then we get a buy set up, and we can look for at least an A, B, C. That's for the daily. On the lower time frame, we have three up in here. As you can see, we were looking for a buy in there. I should take that arrow off now because that's over. I was just looking for an A, B, C here. It actually gave us another correction and more upside. So that's all good. It went further than I thought it may. But we have three up in here on the H4 now too. So this could be the end of the B wave. And we get that A, B, C. I'll just check to see which one's the low here. I think they're double bottoms here, so it's very difficult. I'll use that as the low. But go down to the H1. We got all the bearish divergence on the H4. If we go down to the M15, because this is more of an M15 trade. So we do have a nice impulse down, like I said, on the M15. So if we get three up in here and we get a sell set up, I'll be looking for at least three down. But yeah, we really need these tops here to be broken first. And this could be some sort of an A, B, C here, and then you get the A, B, C. So ideally, we get a break of these tops, and then you start to look for a sell setup. And that could turn motive because we are looking for that C down on the higher time frame. Hey, you. I'm really waiting for a time factor here, like I've been saying. But looking at this, we may have a complete correction in here. I've just got it as 3, 4. It's nowhere near the same size as this over here. This was a very complex correction in here, if you go back through my videos. But just looking at this in here, this can be an A, a B, and a C here. We bounced off that 100 fib there. Looking for downside here. If you remember, we were looking for more downside. Well, it did get to the 100 fib there, so that target's hit. Now I'm really looking for buys, and I am on this from Friday before this spike come out. But it's really on the lower time frames like DXY. The H1 we could be looking at, like we do have a nice impulse up in here. Get a B and a C in here, get some sort of a flat in here, and then we can get a C up. And that's what I'm looking to buy, that C up. Well, I have got an entry down in here already, and I'm looking to add. But in saying that, I'm only really looking for 3 up in here because we do have a bear hidden here. So you do have to be careful. I mean, it may take off, and this is, end of a wave 4 or a correction of wave C, and we do go up and break the top. But at this stage, I can really only look for 3 up because of that possible bear hidden there. If we go down to the M15, you can see what's going on here. Like DXY, we got a nice impulse from a low. We've got this in here, and it's starting to correct in here. So we may get some sort of A, B, C here, a flat, before we go. I mean, if you have a look at the price action down here, I mean, I'm not going to go down to the M1 chart where I got in, but I got in down here. So I got an entry down in here after we had bullish divergence and all the rest of it. But so there still is an opportunity. We really want to see a C down in here before we look for buys. Because this may just be an A, B, C there, and then it comes down and breaks the low. So you need that confirmation. You need the C down and then a bullish setup before you can buy. You don't just, blindly buy into something. GU. Looking at all this as possibly complete, and we go from there. We didn't. We've been sitting in it. We had that nice impulse up, but it only turned into 3 waves. If you remember here, we were looking for a buy, and it did go and break the top. So at minimum, it would have been a break-even trade, but it only gave us 3 up, and then it's given us more downside. And we're looking for a sell in here as well, with that bear hidden. It hasn't broken the low. This is this is quite difficult, because this can be like I said last week, this can be like a W, X, Y, X2 and a Z down before you get an A, B, C, a flat, and then you get more downside before it goes. But all this here could be a complex correction, like we get an A, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, and a 3 down in here, and then 3 or 5 up in here for a 3, 3, 3 or 3, 3, 5 complex correction. So, I mean, it is quite complex at the moment. We're in a B wave, possibly in a B wave. So we may just get a little bit of upside in here for that A, B, C here, and then it falls over for an A, B, C. So any buys you look at, you really got to be careful. I mean, AU is the best out of most of the majors. Yesterday, when I was looking at the market, that's why I chose AU. As you see with GU, it didn't come from a low here. This is the low over here. So, very risky to get into this buy. But the AU, everything lined up. So again, it's looking bullish here on the lower time frames, but you just be looking for a C up, but more up, sort of like an A, B, C in here. So we got some sort of a flat here. So we've already got an A, B, C. We're just finishing off that C wave. Possibly, if you're lucky, it really takes off. But yeah, if you're going to look to buy into this, and you can only buy, there is no self setups. You really got to be careful. EU, we got the C up on the weekly, bounced off this 100 fib. It looks like we're getting a flat in here on the daily, which what we've been looking at. I've been looking up for more upside, but it hasn't gone. As you can see here, I was looking for it to go here. We did get like 1, 2, 3 up in here, and I was looking for a wave 4 and a wave 5. It never played out, and we just got those 3 waves up in here. But I'm looking at this as possibly corrective, very similar to GU, and we get an A, a B, and a C, or this still can turn motive, like what we're looking at on the DXY. If you're lucky, it turns motive, but because this is so deep to this wave here, more than likely it's just a C up. Can look for a buy, but again, it's not a very nice buy. AU's come from a low, whereas this didn't come from a low like GU. That's the low there, not there. So we've got 3 up already. So if you're looking to buy this, you've got to be careful, because it could just come up, break these tops, and fall over and break the lows. So there is no sell setup at this stage. So you can only look for buys. And it's just a scalp. And like I said, if you're really lucky, it takes off. But, not really forecasting for that at this stage. NU, we got the A, B, C up, come down, and I'm pretty much bearish on this, as I've been saying, because we had that impulse down breaking this low here, and then we had 3 up in here, and then it gave a high, so it would have taken out everyone that got in here, taken everyone out, and then now it's given us a lower low. So it has been quite difficult to trade. Like we were looking to buy that, and it did go and break the top. Then it came down and gave us a lower low there. So we're looking for a sell here, and it didn't play out. It didn't give us a setup, and it went and broke the top. And now it's giving us another sell. An A, B, get a C up in here. And then if we get a sell set up, we can look for a sell. Looking at the price action, we could look at this as some sort of a complex correction as well, like a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, a flat in there, and we get 3 or 5 up in here before it falls over and breaks the low. So there is that, but complex correction, we've only got a 1, 2, 3 and a 1, 2, 3 at this stage. So it is quite difficult. This, I would be looking for a sell, but there is no sell set up on it, like I mentioned. It's more bearish. GY, this is pretty much untradeable now. I'm looking at that WXY. I'm waiting for this X2, and then we get a Z up before we get that A, B, C down, larger C down. This is still very much bearish. We've had that impulse down, and I'm looking at all this as corrective. It may go and break this top, and then turn into a running or expanding flat. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking for sells to sell into this C wave here. It hasn't been playing nicely. I mean, we had this nice impulse down here, but it's virtually gone straight back up. There is a bear hidden here. So I am looking for sells. We sort of do have, more downside in here, and this top isn't broken. If that top doesn't get broken and you get a sell set up, well, you could look for at least an A, B, C here. I'm more bearish on this because of all the bearish divergence on pretty much all the time frames. Very risky to be buying right up the top of the market here. But yeah, there's really no sell setup because this has already played out. This was on the lower time frames. It's already given us 3 down in here. Now it's broken this top up in here, and we've got a correction, and it's gone up and broken that top. So it's very much directionless. You got to be very careful at this stage. I'd be leaving it alone. UY was the one to buy, like I said, and that's pretty much just about broken the top here. Well, if you've been following me for a while, you would have known that we were looking for buys. Unlike GY, we were looking for buys on GU because we had the 3 down in here. So to go up and possibly break that top with the ball hidden, or ball hidden on the high time frame, or we get a very deep correction to this wave here, which we've already got. So this is very choppy, so I am looking at it as a B wave, of course. We do have a nice impulse down from the top on the H1, but again, pretty much got to go down to the lower time frames, find out what's going on in here. A few different scenarios looking at the price action. We got a nice impulse down, and then an impulse and an impulse and an impulse. So we have like 1, 2, 3, 4 impulses in a row. It's only starting to look corrective here. So we can get like an A, B, C here, then an A, B, C flat, and an A, B, C, and it may even go and break that top with this C up. And then it turns into a larger bullish running or expanding flat here before more upside. So unless you can identify some sort of a structures in there, you're really just scalping these possible moves in here. Like, you're scalping the correction. Ideally, we wait to see what's going on here. We get 3 up there, for example, and then we get like A, B, C here. Then we get that A, B, C. Well, then we can look for a sell. Ideally, that's what you wait for when you trade the larger C's, like this A, B, this larger C here, rather than trying to trade like a C up in here for this A, B, C here, and then the C down. You get an A, B, C there. I mean, you can scalp all these C waves. The lower the time frame, the more riskier it is, of course. So, that's why I say you're better off to wait for the C up and then look for the sell. If it does go and break this top, well, you know that it's more than likely just going to be a running flat, and it doesn't come down and break that low. But yeah, so you got, I mean, you can scalp it. It's just scalping at this stage. The CAD played out. We're looking at that ball hidden in here on the lower time frame, and it well, it played out, didn't it? We're looking at this here, waiting for this time factor here, and the time factor is pretty well spot on there for this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was very deep, and it went into the territory of wave 2, so we can only really look at it as a leading or ending diagonal. But yeah, we had that ball hidden in here, and it's gone up and broken that top. So job's done there. We're pretty much just waiting for a sell setup now, to either go and break the low or give us more upside. I mean, if we're looking at this as a leading diagonal, well, usually we'll get a very deep correction to this, like this whole wave here. So it may come down to the 78.6 or even the 90 fib here before it goes. So I'd be expecting at least a large correction now on the day, on the daily or the H4. There really isn't much of a sell setup here. If anything, it's more bullish. I mean, if this one had to come down, broke that low, and we had 3 down here, I would have actually looked for a buy to go and break this top with that ball hidden there. But we only have 1 down, so we don't have the 3 down. So again, this could be quite complex. We get 3 up in here before we get an A, B, C, and then possibly more upside with that ball hidden. So again, it's really just scalping right up the top of the market, so it's risky. The Swissy, I mean, pretty much, it's really not much on this either. You know, this wave here, I mean, we did bounce, scrolling out, we bounced off this 100 fib here with that weekly C wave. So that was fine, pretty much bounced clean off of it. We had this impulse here, but it's very choppy. So it's been very risky to trade. I mean, I have been trading it, but it's not the nicest. You can see how choppy this was here. Wasn't ideal. We had an A, B, C here to possibly go and break the top. So we are in a wave 3 now. Well, we're possibly in a wave 4 now. So really need to wait on this time factor here before you look for a wave 5 up. In the meantime, you could look for a sell here. Again, it's more on the lower time frame, like the M15. We come from a top. It's very similar to many of the others. We got a nice impulse down. We wait for some sort of a correction in here. And then we look for a sell for at least an A, B, C. EG is pretty much untradeable, as I've been saying the last few weeks. We've got that leading. I'm looking at that as the leading diagonal. We've got an A, B, C, but it never went. It tried to go, but just didn't go. Now we're in this here, very unpredictable and untradeable. Pretty much, it's untradeable. Yeah, I would be leaving it alone. You know, we may get some sort of an A. This is a B. We get a C up in here. It's really just scalping. There is no complete correction. So, well, I can't see a complete correction because this here looks like, you know, a B wave here. Yeah, this looks like a B wave too. So we got some sort of an A, B, C here, and then an A, B, C. But this C didn't go and break the lows and all the rest of it. So again, this is very tricky. This is some sort of internal, you know, correction in here. You know, you're just scalping if you're trading this, and yeah, it's directionless, so it's risky. WTI, we are getting a ball hidden in here, so I am expecting this top to get broken after we got this correction. As you can see here, we're getting a ball hidden. Really need these lows to be broken. I mean, we haven't even broken, if you go back through my videos, you know, I was looking for this A, B, C here. That wave C never come down broken that low in this wave A. So I'd really like to see this low over here broken, because then we'll have some sort of A, B, C, and we've got some sort of a triangle in here before we get that C down. Ideally, really get that low in here, and then we can start to look for buys for more upside. Other than that, there's really not much to do here. There's no buy setup. Well, there is on the lower time frames, but it's not looking very good now. I mean, there's no overall. There's bullish divergence on just about all the time frame, right? In here, looking at this last piece, you know, this last piece in here, we got bullish divergence in there. So I would be more interested in a buy, but it just hasn't reached that milestone of breaking that low over, you know, over this direction, where I showed that low, that A wave. So, you know, no surprise here. We did have that bear hidden there, and we've gone and broken the low now. I don't think we have bullish divergence between these two lows. There's pretty much not anything to do on this at this stage. I mean, even the M15, we have a possible bear hidden here. The problem with this one was, you know, yes, I was looking for a buy here. We did get a nice impulse up, but it comes straight back down. So this could be some sort of an A, a B, and a C flat for more downside. So yeah, I mean, you're just scalping with the trend at this stage, you know, with this higher trend. You know, you can see it's down. So gold has broken the lows, which is good. We've finally completed this A, B, C here. Took a long time. This was very choppy, and I was actually starting to look at this as bullish, and we get like some sort of an A, B, C up in here. Finally, it has broken the low. It was very choppy, this wave. So this may even become even more complex, and this still is a B wave in here. But we have broken the low, so I am looking for buys. There's nothing to say that this trend here is not over. We still get more downside. You know, but at this stage, I'd be looking for it, and it's just a scalp because you know, we have a bear hidden in here on the H1. So I'm just looking for some sort of an A, a B, and a C up in here, and then we get more downside. So it's real. I mean, it's just scalping, isn't it? You'd be looking for some sort of a correction in here. You could look for a buy, a buy scalp, and you know you want this C down in here, some sort of an A, B, C, and then look to buy on the lower time frames for a C up. You definitely want to be at break even at the break of this top, because it just can break the top and then fall over with that possible bear hidden. So you could look for a buy for a C up and then look for a sell to break the low, scalping both sides of the market. Silver's very similar to gold. This one did, oh no, this one didn't break the low here, so this one's probably got more to go to the downside. I mean, there has been some buys like this here on the lower time frames, but I mean, it's very similar to gold. We get, ideally that top there at least gets broken in here, and then we could look for a correction and a buy, unlike gold. Yeah, it really depends on if this top here gets broken first. The M15, it's already given us like 5 up here. And so we got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up in here with bearish divergence. So it does get very risky to buy once we've broken that top on a 5th wave. Because this may come down and break the low now, or gives us a larger correction before more upside. So yeah, I mean, there's really not much on at this stage. Bitcoin, well, this has come down and broken the low like we were looking for. This was looking corrective. I was saying it for ages, and it finally did come down and break the low. We do have bullish divergence here on the daily too now, so that's good. This wave more than likely isn't over. We do have a bear hidden in here, so I'm looking for some sort of a correction before we get more downside. So, I mean, again, it's really just scalping. And if I was looking for some sort of a structure, I'd be looking at that as the B wave. And we get some sort of an A, B, C here, a flat, and then you could look for a buy opportunity once you get this C down, and then look for a larger C up. Very risky because we already have bearish divergence and we have that bear hidden. So we need a nice impulse down and a buy setup if you're looking to buy, and you'd just be looking for a C up. I mean, if you're lucky, it really takes off, but you can't predict that. So yeah, I had this stage. I mean, you're just scalping possibly a C down in here and more upside. I mean, even if you're scalping the C down, you can get lucky and it goes and breaks that low with that possible bear hidden there. S&P 500 right up the top. Only looking for sells. More than likely, well, it's too early to really go into that. But, again, this is possibly a flat here, expanding flat, and it goes up and breaks the top. It really depends now whether this bear hidden here holds. Really can't trade this down as a bear hidden, but there is that possibility. As you can see here on the M15, we've got like 5 up in here, getting some sort of a larger correction. So it really depends on what we get in here. I'd only be looking for sells, but I mean there is no sell set up on it, even on the lower time frames. So it's really it's going to be difficult to trade. It didn't give us any nice setups to sell. Even up the top there, if you remember, it was very inconsistent. It didn't actually come from the top. The top was, well, if we go to the top, see, didn't give us nice corrections. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, went straight back up. That doesn't look corrective, so very difficult to get into the sell. This one did give us 3 up, so yeah, that's no worries. But you know, this one right up the top, which is what I what I teach is to get into the first trade, and then add to your trade. But this was very difficult to trade. Yeah. AU200. Well, we get a correction in here. Again, it's not ideal. That's the low over there, not there. That's why it's very difficult to trade this, because this is some sort of a 1, 2, 3. It's turning motive. So you really got to wait for a wave 4 before you can trade it now. Unless you're just scalping with this trend in here for a 5th wave up or something. You more than likely get taken out with the big correction. So it's really just scalping a 5th wave up at this stage on the lower time frames. Well, the FTSE looking at some sort of an A, B, C. Again, very difficult to trade because that's the low there, not there. So, to trade this C is more than likely just an A, a B, and a C up, and then we get more downside for some sort of a flat here, and then more upside. So, I'll just quickly check to see if this is. You can see here, this is the low here. This is the dilemma that makes it difficult to trade, because that's the low there, not there. So again, this is some sort of a 1, 2, well, an A, B, C possibly, and then it falls over. So to get in, you need some sort of a nice correction in here to get in. And yeah, as soon as that top there is broken, I'd be definitely trying to get it to break even, because like I just said, it can be just an A, B, C, just come up, break that top and fall over. So it's really just scalping. Lastly, the DAX. I mean, I would be leaving this one alone altogether now, because really this top over here needs to be broken. Didn't quite get broken over here. I think there's better indices to trade than this. If I was looking to trade it, I'd be looking for a buy. We got bull hidden there, a possible bull hidden. So impulse up. If you get a little correction in here, you could look to buy. Scalping again. Yeah. So I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.